Hey you guys, it's Becca at So Darn Twisted, and it's been a minute, hasn't it, since we've done anything together. I must apologise, I have not been really making tutorials very recently because lots of personal things and griefs and whatnot, but I promised that I would get a tutorial or two done before Christmas, so here we are. And they are only going to be really basic, easy things, but sometimes it's good to wind it back. In the new year, I absolutely promise, be doing some more convoluted tutorials for people who aren't at beginner level anymore and have stuck with me, who have asked to see some more complex things. So we will definitely be doing that, but my brain cannot process that at the moment. I'm barely making anything myself. So today we're going to talk about envelopes and making your own for your bits and pieces. So I'm just using a couple of scrap pieces of leftover craft card to demonstrate what I'm going to do. And I thought, well, once I've done all this, I'll make them into journal cards, you know. I'll stick them in my stash and then get around to it. So what you're going to need is some pieces, and I'm going to use two. I'm going to use a rectangle and a square to show you how it works, exactly the same method, and it will work in all manner of different sizes and, you know, different lengths of rectangles and, you know, sizes of things. So those awkward things that you have that you want an envelope for, this is your tutorial. It is using the most basic equipment because not everybody has an envelope scoring board. I've already done a tutorial on how to use the envelope scoring board. Not everybody has one of those, and not everybody's great with calculating measurements. So this one is pretty much an eyeballing thing. All you need is some straight lines and some scissors and some glue. I'm using this because I like to line up using these lines most of the time, but I might use the cutting board. It's also got the scoring capability on it, but you can just, when it gets to the stage where you need to cut your paper, you can just use a pencil, ruler and some scissors, and it's absolutely fine. So as I say, really basic equipment, and some obviously ink if you want to age the edges of what you're doing before you glue it together. So we'll start off with the rectangle, as most things that you want to make an envelope for are rectangular. So we'll do that one first. So you might think, oh, Becca, I don't know how I'm going to do this. Yeah, let me show you. All right, so this is how simple it is, okay? You're going to line up your top and bottom point on the same line. And then say that can be your cutting board, your cutting mat, anything at all really, anything that's got a straight edge. You know, if I often use these to butt things up against, but in this instance it needs to be diagonal ideally, so that you can see that your piece of whatever you're trying to put in there is straight. Okay, you can just eyeball it and, you know, it'll be a bit of a higgledy-piggledy envelope, and that's fine too. But all you want to do is make sure that you are leaving a good bit of size on the edges there, okay? So, you know, half a centimetre, a centimetre, it's fine. Whatever, depends on how much overlap you want as well when it comes to the folding. For this one, I'm just going to stick it like that, and that's absolutely fine. So now I know that this point here is going to be, and this point here is going to be. So what you can do is you can mark that with a pencil to be roughly right, but you'll just have to make sure that you're only using one of those. I'm just marking both to show where you would mark. Okay, so that's all you need to do there. Then we're gonna, if you're going to use a ruler and pencil, obviously line up this and cut your edge. Or if, like me, you're going to cheat and use your cutting mat, I know that it's going to be about there. And again, that's the beauty of this, is you don't have to be hugely precise, as long as whatever this measurement is here now, it has to be square. Okay, so that one is coming in at just under 12 centimetres. So I would turn that round and cut that one just under 12 centimetres. And that is it, that's your measuring done, okay? Really, really simple. What you can do if you really don't feel confident in measuring is, once you've got your initial side done, you can just kind of fold it to where it would be the halfway point. You know, mark that, cut that, just make sure you don't put a crease, otherwise that will be on your envelope. All right, so here we go. So once again, we're just going to line those up, those 2 points there, And again, you don't have to, you can just eyeball it. And then you're going to position the thing that you're wanting to put into your envelope in about the middle. Okay. What I might actually do is I might move that down to that line there just to help me get that in the middle, because I do quite like mine to be as central as possible, because you guys know I'm a bit fussy. Now what you're going to do is you're going to press down on whatever you're using to put in your envelope, and you're going to give it a fold like so. Hold it, another fold like so, open it out, another fold from the bottom, and then a fold from the top. Okay, there we go. Then you're going to find that you've got these little triangular notches, which I'm going to just pencil where those are, just so that you can see what I'm talking about on camera. So let's do a couple. So where those lines intersect, you'll have this little triangle, you see, where those lines intersect here. So this is when you get your scissors and you're just going to trim out those little triangles. You can get, I believe you can get a tool to cut out notches for envelopes, but like I said, the idea of this tutorial is for people who don't have all the tools. You know, I see people a lot in groups and that saying, oh, I wish I could make envelopes, you know, but I don't have the envelope board and so on and so forth. And it's like, well, you don't need it. You can just eyeball and scissors. Okay, fabulous. So there's our 4 notches cut out and ready to go. At this point, if you're excuse me, at this point, if you're using like a plain paper, you could cut an insert as well that you would put in there, which would be obviously about the same size as your actual thing that's going in there, and you could just stick that down at this point into the middle before you do anything with your envelope. At this point as well is when you would also get inking. Oh no, I'm lying, this is not the point where we would get inking. This is the point where I would see whether or not I'm happy with how much sticks up at this point here. I would like that to be a little bit less, so I'm just gonna fold that down for a mark and give it a trim off, because I don't like them to stick up too far, but that's me. And that's absolutely fine there. See, that's our lovely envelope. Okay, you can, at this point, you could use a corner rounding punch. I do have one to hand, she says. Here we go. Just a little one, just to nick off that sharp corner, or, you know, you could use a decorative one. Because it's a square, you've got a perfect angle for using in your punches. So yeah, at this point then I would just go ahead and get a bit inky around those edges. Okay, so obviously you would do all of them if that's what you wanted to do. A nice crisp press down that you can obviously use your bone folder or what have you. And then it really is as simple as get some glue. Obviously this part, you know, you guys are not daft, but you know, I'm going to see it through. Okay, make sure there's no straggly bits of glue inside. Down we go, and there you go. That is your envelope done and dusted and all lovely and snug. Okay, so that's it for a rectangle. So the process is exactly the same for the square, but I'm just going to run through it one more time so you guys can just see that happening. So I had a square piece. Becca, where have you put your square piece? I don't know. There it is. Oh my days, I'm a disaster, aren't I? I'm putting this down to the fact that it's been a while since I've done a tutorial, so you guys will forgive me, alright? Okay, so same process again. This time I'm going to be, I should probably have cut this down first really, but you know, effort. Okay, so same rules apply. Little bit bigger than your actual card, and then about the same distance cut yourself a mark. Okay, And again, I'm just going to throw that on there and get it in roughly the right place. So this piece is coming in at 14, so that's now 14 square. I don't know what happened and my camera glitched out on me. And then you're going to do exactly the same thing as with your rectangle part, like an interior part, gift card, whatever it is you're using. Get that, oh, get that about square, she says. As I say, you know, you don't have to be ridiculously fastidious. If you're doing this for junk journaling, you know, as long as it's in the right ballpark, you're fine. As we say, you know, you don't have to be massively precise. What I'm going to do, actually, I'm just going to run a bit of a pencil mark just down there, and I'm actually going to use my scoring board to score that one. But obviously you guys can use whatever you need. Okay, so that's my first one in place. So where am I looking? That's come to kind of it's useful if you find like a marker point, because then when if you're using card, you know, because then you can kind of make sure that you go the same distance. So that is your two sides. And then you'll be able to see that you need to score that kind of in a bit. Should match up pretty well on that side. Yep, that's lovely. Okay. Oh, I swear to God, I'm not doing very well at moving things today, am I? Good grief. Okay. Let's say you can, of course, just go, I'm just going to eyeball this, and I'll go, good plan, good plan. So then we'll fold in those two. I mean, this is, once you get the hang of it, it's so easy. I mean, I've taught this method to kids, you know, but the first few times you do it, you might get a little bit lost, a little bit confused, which is where I thought if I do the video, you know, and I've done it twice in the video, you guys can just watch it back a few times when you're practicing, you know, have it there in the background ready to roll in case you get stuck. Measure twice, cut once. All right then. So now when I put my insert here and I fold those in, that will give me my nice envelope. Okay. That one's a little bit squiffy, I think, on the score. Yeah, let's see, I've scored that one slightly off centre. That's my fault. I will just go and fix that, because otherwise it's going to make it sit a bit squiffy. We don't want squiffy envelopes, do we? Well, you might not care, like I say, if it's for junk journaling. But I can use that now to make sure that's scored in the right place. That's better. It's not squiffy now. Most people would not care, but you know what I'm like. There we go. Now that's central. So there you go. That's how to do it on a square. That's how to do it on a rectangle. Obviously, same thing applies. You're just going to go in. You're going to glue down those two. If it overlaps here, you can put a dab of glue behind that one. Pop that on, and then there you go. Again, crimp your corner, ink your edges, whatever. So, how easy was that, guys? It's probably even easier than I've managed to make it look. I apologise if I've still somehow managed to make it complicated. I didn't think I had. But if I have, just give me a shout. And if you get stuck, give me a shout. You guys know I'm always happy to answer questions. Pop onto the group, you know, onto my Facebook group, which is linked below, along with all the other Facebook groups that I recommend for junk journaling. And pop along, join up. Let me know if you've watched the video, like come onto my group, let me know if you watched it, let me know if it's helped. You know the kind of thing, leave me a thumbs up on the video, because My views have tanked because I haven't been making tutorials, so I'd really appreciate you guys kind of helping me boost the channel back up again, and I promise that I will be more productive to thank you for it. But there you go. In the meantime, guys, you take care of yourselves and happy crafting.